In the sparkling, sun-dappled waters of Whispering River lived a tiny turtle named Tara. She was smaller than all the other turtles, with a shell no bigger than a shiny green leaf. Every year, the river hosted the Great River Race, a thrilling event where turtles from all along the banks would compete to see who was the fastest. Tara, with her big, bright eyes, dreamed of nothing else. She would watch the older, stronger turtles practice, their powerful legs paddling through the water, leaving ripples in their wake. "I want to race," she'd whisper to herself, her little heart filled with a big dream. But the other turtles would often chuckle when they heard her. "You, Tara, you're too small," said a big turtle named Sheldon, whose shell was as wide as a dinner plate. "The current is too strong for a little one like you." Another turtle, a speedy slider named Zip, zoomed past her. "You'd get lost behind a lily pad," he laughed. Their words stung a little, like a tiny pebble hitting her shell. But Tara's spirit was much tougher than she looked. She believed in her dream, and she believed in herself. "I'll show them," she promised a little minnow who was listening nearby. "I just need to train." So, Tara's training began. Every morning, as the sun painted the sky with shades of pink and orange, Tara was already in the water. She couldn't paddle as fast as the others, so she decided to paddle smarter. She practiced swimming against the gentle currents near the riverbank, strengthening her little legs. She learned to use the leaves floating on the water like tiny sails, catching the breeze to give her a little push. She wasn't just training her body, she was training her mind. She would study the river, memorizing where the current was slowest and where the smoothest paths were. Her best friend was a wise old frog named Finley, who sat on a mossy rock and watched her every day. Finley had seen many great river races, and he knew that speed wasn't the only thing that mattered. Persistence. "Little Tara," he would croak in his deep, friendly voice, "that's your secret weapon. Keep your head up and your heart strong." Tara listened to Finley's advice. She practiced dodging dangling roots and navigating through tricky patches of seaweed. She learned to hold her breath for longer, diving deep to avoid the strongest parts of the current. She was slow, yes, but she was also steady, clever, and determined. Finally, the day of the Great River Race arrived. The riverbank was buzzing with excitement. Turtles of all shapes and sizes lined up at the starting point, their shells gleaming in the sun. Tara took her place among them, feeling like a tiny pebble in a field of boulders. She could hear some of the bigger turtles whispering and snickering, but she ignored them. She took a deep breath, looked at the long, winding path ahead, and remembered Finley's words. Persistence. Little Tara. The race began with a loud splash. The big, fast turtles shot forward like arrows, creating a massive wave that pushed Tara backward. For a moment, she tumbled in the churning water, and her heart sank. It was just like they said it would be. But then, she remembered her training. She steadied herself, found a calmer current near the riverbed, and started to paddle, one small paddle after another, slow and steady, while the others jostled for the lead up on the surface. Tara was swimming smart down below. The race was long and challenging. The first obstacle was the Whispering Woods, a section where thick roots crisscrossed the river like a maze. The big turtles got stuck, bumping into each other and trying to brute force their way through. But Tara, being so small, saw a clear path near the bottom. She gracefully wove through the roots, her tiny size now a huge advantage. When she emerged on the other side, she was surprised to see she had overtaken several of the larger turtles who were still tangled up. Next came the lily pad labyrinth. A vast stretch of the river was covered in a carpet of huge green lily pads. Zip, the speedy slider, tried to race across the top, but he kept slipping and sliding in the wrong direction. The other turtles tried to push their way through, but the lily pads were like a floating puzzle. Tara remembered her training. She dove deep under the water, where the stems of the lily pads were like a calm, underwater forest. She swam beneath the chaos, her path clear and unobstructed. By the time she surfaced, She was amazed to find herself near the front of the pack. The other turtles started to notice. "Look, it's Tara," one of them shouted in disbelief. Sheldon, the big turtle, was huffing and puffing, tired from fighting the current. Zip was far behind, still trying to find his way out of the lily pads. They had relied on their size and speed, but they hadn't planned for the river's challenges. Tara had. She kept her pace, her little heart pounding with a mix of exhaustion and excitement. She could see the finish line, a fallen log stretched across the river, not too far away. But there was one last challenge, the rapid run, the fastest and most powerful part of the current. The water roared and churned, and Tara felt its pull. It was scary. She felt herself being tossed about, and for a moment, she thought she couldn't go on. She was so tired. But then she looked at the riverbank and saw Finley, the old frog, hopping with excitement. "You can do it, Tara. You're almost there," he croaked as loud as he could. His voice gave her a new surge of energy. Tara remembered her final training trick. She tucked her head and legs into her shell, making herself as small and smooth as a river stone. Instead of fighting the powerful current, she let it carry her. She rolled and tumbled, trusting the river that she now knew so well. She used the force of the water to her advantage, letting it push her forward toward the finish line. The other turtles were still struggling, trying to paddle against the powerful flow. In the final stretch, it was just her and Sheldon side by side. He was big and powerful, but he was exhausted. With one last, mighty effort, Tara popped out of her shell, gave 3 powerful paddles, and shot forward, gliding right under the finish line log just a moment before him. Silence fell over the riverbank, followed by a huge cheer. The little minnows leaped from the water, and Finley the frog croaked with joy. Tara had done it. The smallest turtle in the river had won the great river race. She was tired, but her heart was overflowing with happiness. The other turtles swam over, no longer laughing. "You were amazing, Tara," said Sheldon, truly impressed. "You taught us that it's not about being the biggest or the fastest." Zip added, "It's about having the biggest heart and the smartest plan." Tara smiled, her little face beaming with pride. She hadn't won because she was the strongest, but because she was brave, persistent, and she never, ever gave up on her dream. From that day on, no one ever called Tara too small. They called her Tara the Terrific, the little turtle who proved to everyone that true strength comes from within, and that even the biggest dreams can come true, no matter what size you are. So if you ever feel like you're too small to do something big, just remember the story of Tara. Believe in yourself, work hard, and never let anyone tell you your dreams are out of reach, because bravery comes in all sizes. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to follow for more wonderful stories.